You're listening to Uncovered Radio, and I'm so excited to introduce you to Katherine Woodward Thomas, who not only is a new and very exciting personal friend of mine, but someone I've admired the work of for so long. She's a best-selling author. She's a licensed psychotherapist. She teaches other coaches, and she's created these processes both around calling in the one, which I talk about a lot on the show, as well as conscious uncoupling was really your process. There's a book called Conscious Uncoupling, and made famous, of course, by Gwyneth Paltrow's divorce, right? She talked about conscious uncoupling. But what a lot of folks don't know is that it's not just when you're going through a breakup, it's really setting yourself up for recovering from a breakup and getting ready for love. Really becoming what I often say, a frequency match to the love that you really most desire. So, you know, you have to read the book, of course, but tell us just really quickly, there are 5 steps to consciously uncoupling, to really releasing yourself from that breakup, whether it was yesterday or 5 years ago or 50 years ago, whatever, and getting ready for love.
There is a difference between someone who has had the opportunity to think about the breakup before it happens. So that's the person who is doing the breakup because they've done a lot of grieving. Conscious uncoupling is written mostly for people who are being broken up with and who are devastated. So step 1 is find emotional freedom. And how do we use those huge, big tidal waves of negative emotions that we're experiencing to harness the energy for positive change in our lives? Step 2 is to reclaim our power in our life, which is going to have to do with taking personal responsibility for our part. It's really challenging to do that because we're so obsessed with what the other person has done that they shouldn't have done.
It's so important.
And I always validate that and say, you are probably 110% right about that, but you really want to look to see even your 3% of what happened. And usually that's covert, the subtle ways that you threw yourself under the bus, you settled for less, you dimmed your energy down, you put your first attention on someone else, and making amends to yourself, promising yourself to never do that again. Step 3 is breaking the pattern and healing your heart. And that's really using this breakup to graduate you from any residue of old toxic beliefs that you formed
even
about
from childhood,
way back when. I call it your source fracture wound, the original break in your heart. And to actually use this experience to break your heart open to a whole new level of reclaiming your value and power. Step 4 is becoming a love alchemist. How do you transform the field between yourself and the person that you're breaking up with? How do you clear the air between you? How do you set a new intention for the new future that you're committed to creating? And step 5, creating your happy even after life, setting up the structure so that everyone can win moving forward.
So it's not happily ever after, it's happily even after.
That's right, happily even after.
And so we did a podcast where we dive deep into this, which you can absolutely find for free at uncoveredradio.com on the Too Risque for Radio podcast. You have the program on your website. What's the website?
ConsciousUncoupling.com, and I have a free starter kit that I would love to give people.
Good, yeah, and especially this time of year, there are lots of people feeling sad. So if you are one of those, definitely check out Conscious Uncoupling. Thank you so much, Katherine Woodward Thomas. I'm also going to dive in with you about calling in the one now that you've cleared the air and you're ready for love.
Amen to that.
That's coming up next on Uncovered Radio.